Hi, everybody. This is Chris.
This is Matt.
This, unfortunately, is Zorro.
Yep. Yep. If you love this one, you might want to tap out now because we are salty about Zorro.
We're salty about Zorro. But I would not say to take this as a bad review of Zorro because
it's not a review,
it's not
folks.
a review. No, we don't review games here. We play the games. We come back, talk about our experiences with them. We do 2 games a month, a long game at the beginning of the month, first weekend, and a short game 2 weeks later. This is the short game.
Thankfully.
It's
like a review, but without having to back up your opinions with facts or research.
Right. And without actually having to stay on the topic of the game, because very often we get off track and talk about either Oh Snap Pickles or pants or anything.
Right.
Sometimes we go back and we mention, when we're comparing and contrasting, let's start with that. We've already gotten salty at the game. Let's hold it up to our standard. Would you rather play this or Auto Duel? Go.
I think I'd rather play Auto Duel because
Me too.
at least in Auto Duel I can go play blackjack or I can not listen to the Zorro music.
Well, okay, so let's warn people at home if you do want to play this game. If you want to try it out for yourself, because you liked Conan and you liked Goonies, and that's how we got to here. Same people, same sort of gameplay loop. The background music on this is like 5 seconds long, and it loops the entire thing unless you press S and shut it off.
Yeah,
Do that.
The music is so repetitive and bad and irritating. And when there's like a phase where you kind of go like underground, and I was waiting for the music to start, and it started. It's actually not this underground part; it's later.
Yeah,
and then it starts up, and it's the same fucking music, but slowed down a little bit. That was such a betrayal. Like God damn it! I thought like I was done with this horrible music. Can we play it? Can we play the music briefly?
No.
Okay, because you turned it off.
Because I turned it off.
You didn't want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, history-wise, this game came out the same year as Goonies, 1985.
And a year after Conan, which is the other kind of Datasoft game in this genre we've played.
Yeah, and we liked Conan.
And we liked Goonies.
Yeah. I felt like Conan did action puzzling better and Goonies did puzzling better, and this just did neither very well.
This did a lot of jumping on trampolines.
A lot of jumping on trampolines.
There's so many trampolines in this fucking game.
And things you wouldn't recognize as trampolines, like the barrel in the water.
Or a sleeping person. It's just ridiculous.
The sleeping person's kind of funny, though. I'll give him that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was the funniest of the puzzles.
Yeah. That one I actually enjoyed.
But this is...
End of list.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty typical Datasoft. Like, they're kind of known for acquiring these intellectual properties like Conan and the Goonies and Bruce Lee or whatever, and then turning them into...
Data East.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I saying Datasoft?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Datasoft?
No, not anymore.
Who was it when they made this game? Wasn't it Datasoft on the intro screen? Anyway, that's what they're known for.
You're right. My notes say Data East. I'm the asshole. All right, continue.
Wow. Let's just take a moment. I need to bookmark this moment in my life. I was right. But yeah, this is what they were known for. They acquired these intellectual properties, made these puzzle games, and they're kind of like not high effort, which is why they're great for these short game videos. But this one is terrible. Like it looks shitty. There's no drama. The other ones all have some level of drama. Like in Goonies, you get to that level and it's like a skull. In Conan, there's like crazy shit happening on pretty much every level. I mean, there's some sleepers, but whatever. There's drama.
Yeah.
I didn't find any drama in the levels in this game. They're just a kind of a mess.
The levels are kind of a mess. I'm gonna back up here a little bit on this level because I specifically want to talk about this puzzle. So
This is, and I'm going to be completely honest here, this is the one puzzle I figured out myself, and it made me so annoyed that I stopped playing for a while, and then I came back and tried again, and got so annoyed with the puzzles that I just kind of like quit and just watched some playthroughs. And
right before we get into that, let's just bullet point through a few things here. Let's finish up the history. I was wondering, like, why was this an IP in 1985? Because, like, I remember, like, black and white Zorros from, like, 1957.
Zorro was from 1919. That's when that intellectual property was kind of created.
So I did look, and there were The New Adventures of Zorro and Zorro and Son in 1981 and 1983, respectively. So they were trying to, like, they're constantly trying to just breathe some life back into this. And I get it. It's a cool character, and it's a character that you kind of want to get into.
Yeah, it's got everything. It's got senoritas, swords, and mustaches.
Mustaches.
And like he's like an acrobat, and he rides horses, and
he's like and he's sort of a Batman-y character too, like a rich guy who like comes in and fights for the common people. And there's a lot going on to like about Zorro as a character, as an IP, is the thing. I want to bullet point your drama thing because you're talking about there's not drama on screens. We'll come back to that. I kind of disagree because I liked the guards marching around. Like, the guards always marching around made it feel like, oh, there's, something I'm avoiding or dodging. You learn how to eventually, and it's not an effort, but it at least suggested it was there.
I think my problem with that, I do agree in principle, because you do feel something when the guards come out, but the combat is so easy.
That was going to be my next step.
It's a non-issue.
I found the combat I don't know what to call it. And we'll talk about that later, because there's a puzzle that requires combat, but the rest of the game doesn't. And so we'll talk about that when we get to that puzzle. Anything else I want to cover before we get to that? Graphics, acceptable for the time.
Yeah, I mean,
not great.
They're real yellow, but they're fine.
They're fine. Stuck to like a 4-color palette in each room, and it's fine.
Well, let's talk about this puzzle, because that's why you paused this. And I'm sorry, I'm really angry, and I keep getting.
That's excited. Okay. That's what makes these fun. But this is a game with the puzzles where the puzzles will span rooms. Like the plant I'm carrying here, that is from a different room. And I think that's one of the things that made this game interesting over the Conan and the Goonies, is that you got to really explore a whole map to solve puzzles and do things. Mm-hmm. And they squandered the opportunity, and we'll talk about that later too. But right now you've got to get a plant in here to create enough weight to lower one of the platforms far enough so that you can roll that barrel in the upper left to where it needs to go. Now I'm going to just pause for a second, and I want to give the viewers at home, like, take 5 seconds and figure out which platform you're supposed to put the plant on by looking at the screen. Go. Did you say the platform with the rope attached to it? If you did, you're wrong. That's not a platform that you need to elevate. You'll see here in a second that the platform you need to elevate doesn't look like something that moves right now.
Right. And you get a sense that it moves earlier because you stand on it and it goes halfway down.
Well, only if you come over here to move it.
Right. Like if you do this without the plant on it, it'll stop there and that's it.
Yep. And then
it rolls off.
That rolls off there. And for some reason it stops rolling, even though it could keep going.
Right. This requires you to make the mental connection. If only I weighed one extra potted plant, I could get this platform down.
Yeah.
And operate this Rube Goldberg contraption that ultimately doesn't really seem to do anything for your advancement in the game at this juncture.
Right.
What really pissed me off about this puzzle is that after you do it, you get no carrot. You have to go back through this fucking barrel trampoline puzzle that makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could have just gone up a ladder and not had to go back through the rigmarole of bouncing on those barrels, because as an action platformer, this thing is garbage. Like, it doesn't move that well.
No. It's not a fun game to jump or fight in. And as a game that requires you to do jumping and fighting, that's a problem.
Definitely.
So, like, here, would you know you can bounce high on this couch? I mean,
The world's biggest couch.
world's biggest couch. Yeah, there's some proportion issues with things.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay. Or the fact that the door up top is huge and it's sideways and you can't get to it from that screen. You got to go to this screen and climb up and go back over. And the map of the screens, depending on what level you are when you leave a screen, can take you to a completely different screen.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's totally unintuitive the way these screens are laid out. Yeah. There's no like Conan would kind of give you hints sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something would happen, a bird would fly in, and you'd be like, okay, the problem I'm trying to solve now is this bird, right, or whatever. This does not give you really any hints. It just requires you to kind of screw around. And like,
why would you know to take a painting of a bottle to turn it into a bottle?
And why would you know to keep going back to that fucking painting?
That's like what I was about to say.
That, like, is such a failure as a puzzle to have to make me keep going back to something that's not even the thing. Right. It's a painting of the thing. It makes no sense.
And you got to give it to this guy. So we'll talk about that painting thing in a second, because that is, I think, the biggest how dare you in this game. And again, here you see ropes on things that suggest, okay, I've got to lower the chandelier somehow. Mm-hmm. And if you walk off, you'll grab on and raise the chandelier. So you get a hint that I need to, hang somebody from it. And that was combat, by the way. You push at them and you hit a button. But like this guy, I can't kill him. I've got to push him off. And so combat is just random. I died because I don't know why.
My experience was that if I just hit the button when a sword was pointing down, I'd just win instantly.
That's actually what the directions tell you to do. When the sword is pointed down, press the button and you win. But I don't want to win here.
Right. You want to drive them. And this is actually one of the better puzzles in the game.
If the combat was better, I'd agree. Because it's not. I think in this one I lose 2 lives trying to push the guy backwards. Because you're not fighting. Like, you're not...
Right. And now just imagine while you're doing this, that horrible, shitty music looping in the background incessantly with that kind of plodding, stupid bass line. Like, it's not in here, but go look up the Zorro music. It's just beyond the pale bad.
And this is why, I mean, when I first played and didn't know to hit S, I 100% agreed with you. Once I knew that's not something you need to worry about, you can turn that off. The game improved a millionfold. And I still don't like it. What does that tell you?
Right. Right.
So I think this is where I finally pushed this guy off.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, you talked about the other games in this genre and how they're kind of confined to a room, and in this game...
So, like, this was, Yeah,
so now you're back where you utilize the weight of the potted plant to lower the thing, and now you're past it.
Yeah.
I prefer the one room, one puzzle thing. I think this had potential to do it, but the puzzles were so stupid.
Right.
I think it didn't.
And that's where I'm saying I think it squandered an opportunity. I'm wondering why I'm just standing here for a few seconds, though.
Yeah, maybe you're thinking about it. What is the flashing thing? Oh, that's the cup?
The chalice.
The chalice.
Yeah, there are 3 items you have to get, and they don't have any sort of payoff or anything other than your bonus goes back up and starts counting down again. Mm-hmm. That you just have because they let you get through a spot somewhere else.
Yeah. You kind of just have to find an item and then figure out where to carry it around to. And it's so ugly. And like this tree is another thing that infuriated me because you can climb the tree and jump off.
Yeah.
You can jump off to the left, fine. But if you try to jump off to the right, which is, what every fiber of your being wants to do because that's where the doors are and the platforms are, you just can't.
Yeah.
You just are not allowed.
And I mean, they telegraph it with the other stuff on the screen. You're going to have to do this other special thing, but then don't put the tree there.
Right. But you need the tree because you need to work around the stupid
mapping system.
Yeah. Mapping system where you have to get to the top so you can go back to the top of the other screen. It's just abysmally bad, and it's so ugly. Like this yellow and black palette. Ugh. Like I get what they were going for with kind of the Southwest thing, but man, it's just like no fun to look at.
A couple more colors would have made me happy. But
the level layouts are all ugly, and sometimes they make sense sometimes, but more than often they don't.
Here's my real problem. Here's where the game lost me for good. This key walk I'm doing up the side of this building, it's to get back into the hotel to grab the painting of the next thing I need, the branding iron. That's in the same place that the beer was. And when I first played through, I had no idea it would be there because why would it? We've already grabbed the item from there. Why would it restock it with something else?
And make you go through the gameplay is so repetitive.
And you're like, oh, so you had to do this twice. You're being a bit pissy. No. This isn't when it lost me. So you've got to do this here. And then you've got to go back. And are the bells next or was there one more thing? No, I think bells are next.
The bells are next, yeah.
You got to get a bell from that thing and take it over to the chapel screen that you climb up the side of and put it up there with no prompting that that's what's supposed to happen unless you can figure out, oh, this is a chapel and it should have a bell. And you got to do that not once, but twice.
Yep.
And then you got to go back in there and get a horn to stand on that platform and blow revelry so a troop comes running out, drops on the platform, and launches you up to the pole. Here's the thing. Here's what just absolutely took me. It wasn't even the second bell, although that was close. Doing the same puzzle twice for the sake of repeating a puzzle. If you'd done one bell, I'd have forgiven you, but 2? Why? You're not testing me. This isn't a Twitch game where you're testing my reflexes in any stretch of the word. You're testing my patience. And I'm losing.
Yep. Yeah.
If you blow the horn and you aren't standing on the right spot on the tippy platform, you don't go up. And it takes the horn away and you've got to do it again. Holy crap, I was so mad. Rage quit. Totally.
Yep.
It was like, I'm done.
And like I said, I watched a playthrough. At the very end, you get to the señorita, and then you have to go all the way back to the picture through the whole level to get a picture of a rose that somehow turns into a real rose to give to the señorita. And man, like that is terrible design to make me go through. That's like, you remember Ghosts and Goblins where you like, it's impossible and then you beat it and it's like, okay, now you have to do it again for no reason.
That was a dream of what you're about to do. It's a prophecy. Do it now for real.
Right. Now go do it actually. Fuck that game. And fuck this game too. I did not like this game one bit. I
wish it had an inch of charm somewhere. I wish it had something that I could say. It had some rough spots. They tried hard. They did this or this or this. But this was charming. Like, I really enjoyed the the way you swashed Z on the guy, or
Yeah.
you know,
It's really got nothing. Like
I
a
really
few,
liked this one screen and this one puzzle so much. I'll give it this. When you put both bells in there, for some reason, the tomb's open and you can climb down into a grave. I don't know. There's part of me that thinks that's kind of funny.
yeah.
But I don't know what they have to do with each other. Or
The best part, though, about putting those bells in is that it shuts the music off and plays a bell sound instead of the music until you go down, and then you get the slowed down version of the music.
unless you have the music off, and then it just plays the bell sound, and now the bell sound is annoying. So
Yes. Yes. But yeah, just how repetitive it was. Like, if nothing else, like I could even probably forgive the dubious puzzles and the irritating music and the shitty combat, but then to make the unlogical puzzles repetitive, illogical,
yeah,
is just like so insulting to me. Like I couldn't do it.
I feel you. Did you even get to the maze, or did you watch somebody do the maze?
I watched someone do the maze. I didn't get past. I didn't get down into the lower part in my game.
I mean, yeah, the puzzles aren't something you sort of figure out. It's one of those where I either just saw it as obvious because there's only so many objects I can pick up, and I gotta kind of, you know what I mean, figure like I've got this object, I can put it here because they're the only things available right now. As opposed to, I think it would be really interesting to see the bells locked in a vault in one of these screens.
Sure.
And then you've got to figure out, how do I get into the vault? And
Right.
then the branding iron is on a high shelf, and you got to figure out some way to bounce your way up there. Would have been interesting. And maybe you have to push some stuff or stack some stuff. Could have been interesting.
Yeah, I will say
The beer bottle is in the barracks, and you got to like fight some guards. I can see things that would have made it fun that they just didn't do.
Right. There's like the start of some interesting puzzles, like the puzzle where you have to give the booze to the guy so you can jump on his stomach. Like, there's levity there. That's fun.
Right.
It's like a creative kind of silly idea, or branding the bull. Like, that's could be a good puzzle, but they're just executed so badly that the charm just is gone because it's annoying, or it doesn't really make sense or follow through. Like, just having to go up to get it from the picture, like, that's not interesting. No, it's not rich at all, you know.
The one thing I thought would happen and didn't, and I don't know why I thought it would happen because none of the other puzzles were this interesting. You got that little tippy platform. I thought what you're going to have to do is brand the bull, then race it to there so that when it steps on it, it's what launches you up. That'd have been hilarious.
Yeah.
That'd have been a good race puzzle, a little twitch in your whole thing.
Yeah.
And it comes back to, between the graphics and the puzzles and everything, when I say to you 1985 and Goonies came out the same year, not acceptable. If I said to you 1982,
we could talk about that.
I could talk about that. I could say, for its time, it was starting to test some things. It had some ideas that hadn't really been.
Play this and go play Conan. Worlds apart. The action in Conan is action. He moves in a way like this guy doesn't really move in any kind of way. He just kind of flops around.
And when you need pixel perfect jumps in some cases, like.
Right.
Can you nudge him forward? Can you not? Like,
right. But Halls of Volta, the Conan game, is light years better than this. Just in every way. I can't think of a way that this is superior to. What is that? Oh, you were on the wrong side of the.
On the wrong side. I was on the side that was tipped down because I thought he'll have to go here and it'll flip me up. But
right.
So now I got to do this puzzle all over again because it took the trumpet away. Why?
Right. Which means you have to go back and get the key. You can't just like go back up there. It's really sad.
Why does the door keep locking, and why do they keep putting stuff in that room? The moment you solve a puzzle, they're like, man, Zorro's broken in here 5 times.
Right.
Maybe we should move the key.
He stole all of our pictures, and we keep replacing them. Yeah, I would call it a failure, which is a huge disappointment.
Right.
Because I love these games as short games. I think they're really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're rewarding.
Yeah.
But
do you think any of your problem with this is we went in with such high hopes, or do you think it is strictly the quality of this game?
I think it's the quality of the game because I knew it's like a bad version of my expectations. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. I knew what it was going to be like. I knew it was going to be puzzle platforming, with individual screens and a little character. But I mean, I guess maybe no, it's just a bad game. I didn't expect it to be better than Halls of Volta or even Goonies. But I thought it would be at least comparable, and I don't think that's an unrealistic expectation considering those games came out the same year or before this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I get so sick of the screen and this couch. This is.
I got so sick of jumping on things.
You can make me repeat a puzzle in the same room twice forcibly. Like if I screw something up and I got to go back through, that's on me. When you make me do it 10, 11 times, I'm mad at you then. That's not a me thing.
Yep.
Here we have disappearing platforms in a platform, a platform Twitch style game with controls that aren't built for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is doable. Where the music slows down.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like this irritating vanishing platform kind of Mega Man shit.
Yeah.
Is not fun.
Again, I'm going to pause for half a second. Viewers at home, which exit should you use?
I mean, I would choose the one with the money.
Right. Should you pick up the money?
I would pick up the money.
Don't pick up the money because if you come back to the screen, you won't remember which one it is, and they all look the same.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is the maze you were talking about,
This is the
right?
maze I'm talking about. And it's going to be important here in a second because I want you to see like what I got to do to get through some of this crap. Now, I got to wait for this one to almost jump and then jump just in time to know that that's there and then jump and then get off. And,
Yeah.
And this one wasn't too bad.
But yeah, I mean, even at least it's not yellow, but it's still ugly as shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they limited it to 4 colors. And I'm wondering, like, I thought I saw that this was done on the Commodore 64 first, so I really don't understand it. I hate that some walls don't look like walls. Some they just drew this purple bar down and like, oh, that's your wall. Because I wouldn't have fallen there like I did if I had really sussed in my mind, oh, that's a wall.
Yeah. I think that I hate everything about this game. I really do. I hate the controls. I hate the music. I hate the way it looks. I hate the puzzles. Like, I cannot think of a redeeming quality. Oh, except the senoritas. I did like... there's that kind of saucy picture in the one of the hotel rooms where if you kind of squint, maybe it's a little hot. I don't know. But the senoritas aren't enough to save this.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk. What are things you like? So you like the senoritas, and you liked anything else?
I think there was potential for some of the puzzles to be clever, but they weren't executed, so I can't say that I liked them.
I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I liked the Lode Runner style shimmying you did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a nice touch to the thing. I wish the graphics were done a bit more to make it a bit more obvious. For those of you who saw, I just walked through a purple wall. So I don't know what the physics rules are on here. But no, I kind of like that. my joystick screwed up there. And now I have to start the whole maze over again because I screwed up. I like that they attempted a maze. I like that the guards patrol. I like that the puzzles are things where you like explore the world and learn it and bring stuff back. It didn't use any of these well, but I like that it tried.
Sure.
Like it's one of those where it's like, do you like how they were done? No. Do I like that they were done? Yes.
That's generous. I think you're being quite
I'm
generous
trying right now. I'm like, what
because
if I really dig in? What can I find? Because I mean, this game went out. People bought this. Somebody looked at this and said, "I'm going to put my name on it." And I think, who was
I forget the guy's name. I feel bad if he's still alive.
James,
sorry.
Kieran. Why do you keep killing off? It's not that. Oh, we played these in our lifetime. It's not like the 1918 Zorro.
I don't know. I just think of people who were making games in the 80s, and it seems like that's something adults would have done. And I was a kid, so I just...
So they must all be dead now? There are no adults older than you?
Yeah.
Very good. We learned a little something about Matt.
Yeah. I don't want him to be dead, for the record. No. I don't hate Zorro that much.
I did look up what else he did, and it wasn't a whole lot of things. So I get the feeling this wasn't a passion for him. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Zorro's what broke him. Maybe he's like, I had such great ideas, and I had a boss who just made me do all these stupid things. Because I think every one of us who've developed things has had that boss.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting in the pitch meeting to the client, and they're like, the software will be fully customizable. And you're like, if I could kick you in the balls right here and now, I would absolutely do it.
Totally. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm trying to be a little generous because...
You are, because, like, that's like saying, oh, you know, the thing I like about Auto Duel is that it was a balls-to-the-wall
but
action,
it wasn't. Like
fighting game, but it wasn't. It was, like, the suggestion of one.
Well, and that was one of the things we said about Auto Duel, though. Like, we like the setting. We like the way the cars look, and some of them are polished with lasers. Like, it wasn't just Mad Max. There was some tech. It was a different setting that we could actually get behind. Wasn't fully realized in the game, but we liked the setting.
It was a rich world.
Yeah. So when it comes to this, like, what are the things, you know, what can I get past the actual implementation for and give it? And so what would you do to fix it? How would you fix this game?
Oh my God.
Start coding again.
Yeah. I would make combat meaningful, or I would remove it entirely and make that part of the puzzle a la some
Thief. Like Thief, the Dark Project, where the whole point is to avoid combat.
Right. I would do one of those. I think I would fix combat because
it's
Zorro is a sword fighter.
Yeah. That's his stick, man.
Yeah, I would give him a second or third frame of walking animation. I think that would be nice for him.
I don't think even walking animation, resting animation.
Yeah,
like because the walking animation, it just sort of pauses wherever he is or resting. It just pauses wherever he is in his walk. By the way, we're about to see what made me finally just say, "Fuck this game." So. You have to free prisoners, and I didn't think of that as I was walking by them, so I made this a little harder on myself. Because I was like, I just got to get to the top here and then something. But you need to free prisoners to create a stack of guys on the left side. I'm going to get all but one, and then I want you to see what happens. I jumped a little early there.
That's okay.
And then I tried to get up that, and it doesn't let you off the ladder early.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, this isn't what does it. Open. Figure out. Oh, yeah. Open the cages, I'll bet. And then they go down there. And then.
Inexplicably, they form a human staircase.
They're like, oh, you must need us to stack up cheerleader style.
Right. There's just no logic to this game at all.
And then I try to run to get to this ladder in time. don't make it. And it sends me back to the beginning of the maze.
Right. So mean. So unnecessary. And totally why they did it is because you would get a free pass on that stupid puzzle if they dropped you on the left side of the screen,
Absolutely.
as they traditionally do.
Yes. They couldn't just drop you at the right. And also, people are shooting, so it's possible they would have dropped you in front of another bullet. But that could have been solved with a safe spot on the screen or having the bottom level not have riflemen. There's 100 solutions to this problem.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There are 100 solutions to that problem that don't involve you traversing the whole fucking maze again.
Oh, my God. So one of the things I'd fix in this is I would not have that be the case.
Definitely.
I would scatter the items throughout the world.
Mm-hmm. A couple more screens in the beginning.
Get rid of the maze. I know we're storing all this maze shit in here. Get rid of that.
Get rid of it.
Make a couple more buildings.
I thought you said that you liked that they tried to do the maze, which surprised me when you said it. Because I hate
that they tried.
I see. Because I
hate that they did. I like that they tried.
Like in the original Zelda, do you remember the maze through the graveyard? Like, I always hated that shit when I was a kid. Like, it didn't make it. I guess it kind of makes sense in Zelda.
Well, that's the point. You're in a forest and everything.
Or the forest,
same.
Yeah.
But it's to get to the graveyard. So you're right. But yeah, it's so. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to, and they did it in Mario also. You got to be like up on this platform, middle on this platform, like It doesn't make logical sense. It's magic. It's game magic.
Right.
Magic. I wouldn't have minded a maze of downstairs puzzle-y things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Could have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't need to be this kind of maze, though. Like, you can go onto a screen and hit a dead end and then realize, see the rest of the screen and go, I've got to come at it from here. That's an interesting maze because it makes me figure it out. This makes me guess, and that's not a puzzle.
Right.
It's trial and error, and it's not fun.
Right.
And the salt is coming.
Right. Not fun is on brand for Zorro.
Not brand is on fun for Zorro, yes. Sword fighting would get a major overhaul for me.
Yes.
It should be center stage and done well. And it's not either.
You should feel cool when you're sword fighting.
Right? Like, if I get into a Zorro game, I want a sword fight. If I get into a Batman game, I want to throw a batarang. These are just two things that I want. So if I'm in a Spider-Man game, I want webs. Like, if you had a Spider-Man game where the webs were basically, anytime you get near a guy, it webs them, and
that's it.
That's it.
Right.
I mean, it fulfills the checkbox.
Right. It has web, but it doesn't. You don't feel anything. You want to feel cool when you're playing these.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would definitely I don't know why these games can't come up with a good sword fighting system. Because the one we played before this, what was that game? Kingdom.
Let me go look.
The last game we played, remember? There was like Risk with mini games.
Oh, Defender of the Crown.
Defender of the Crown. Like, that had shitty sword fighting. This has shitty sword fighting. Like, come on, folks. Like, you can write some decent sword fighting shit.
All right. I have a quest for our people at home. Find us a game with good action sword fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Find it. Bring it to us. We want one so bad.
Pirates was pretty good.
Pirates was okay. It is better than most. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say it's got to be better than Pirates. And there were so many fucking karate games in the 80s and 90s. You could adapt that to sword fighting.
Yeah.
Easy. It doesn't need to be boring and stupid.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, just
give me something.
Give me something to work with here.
Yeah, it is interesting that the puzzles span screens. In some of the Rube Goldberg-y kind of puzzles could have been cool.
Right. I wouldn't mind more Rube Goldberg-y puzzles. I think that's a fun part of any puzzle game is like, if I do this, this happens. And I don't even mind a little trial and error in that. Like, I put this on here and, it flipped the barrel actually over the wall.
It's too heavy. It's not heavy enough.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the potted plant will be just right. Like, I could get behind that. Mm-hmm. But not this.
Why was there a potted plant in the bottom of the cellar anyway? Like, there's so many... Anyway.
Right. It makes no sense.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I do to fix this. Interesting fights. The fights should be puzzles. Like, sneaking past guards should have been more of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, having to, like, watch patrol routes and go, okay.
Like Woflenstien.
Yeah.
That was a good implementation of that, like, kind of half...
semi-random, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And they still managed to make it sort of be a thing. But yeah, or, hide the body puzzles. That would be one too. Like, you got to knock a guy out, drag him behind a curtain, or,
Right. Anything.
There's ways this could have been better. It just didn't get there. And I'm getting a little... I'm starting to feel bad kicking it now because... It's dead, Jim.
Yeah, I know. It made me really mad, and I'm not over it yet. Like, we could probably talk about this in a month, and maybe it would be a slightly different conversation. I think I'd still hate it, but I think I would be over the anger. And you played it more than I did, clearly. Yeah.
I wanted to find the thing that I'd like. I wanted to find the charm, and that's its biggest sin is there's nothing charming. There's nothing that makes the aggravating parts tolerable. There's no spoonful of sugar.
I was halfway to quitting when it made me jump back across the barrels. And then to have to keep doing that key thing. Mm-hmm. No. I was just like, I get what this game is, and I stand by my decision to abandon ship on this thing. Because it looks like it only gets more irritating. Like, to get all the way to the end and make you go back to the fucking painting again, I can't imagine how I would feel if I had spent, an hour and a half dicking around in this maze and finally get through it and free the prisoners who form the human pyramid for some reason, only to get finally to the Senorita and realize, I have to go back and get
that
a picture.
That's how I would save this game. And it kind of has it with emulators, but if it had it back in the day, save states. If I could come back into this game, hit a key, and jump past the maze again because I've already solved it. Because there's no fun of solving it once you've solved it in this. There was an action twitchy catharsis endorphin rush you get from doing something. Like in Goonies on the first screen, you gotta set the printing press to start throwing counterfeit money out the window, and then you gotta race something down to get out.
Right. That was fun.
It was fun. The figuring it out was fun because it was a mental thing and it didn't have any sort of time or effort pressure on it. But then you had a Twitch thing on the way down that you had to do, and that was fun because that was the thing. Can you physically do this? There's not can you physically do this in this? Yeah. It's not a thing.
Right.
So bitter.
The jumping puzzles are piddly and annoying. Like I love to hate vanishing platform puzzles. I always think about Mega Man because there's so many of those puzzles in Mega Man. But when you beat one of those puzzles, it feels awesome. Like you're like, I am finally not doing vanishing platforms anymore. It feels so good to not be doing it. Mm-hmm. But in here, it's like you got to do it again.
And you got to watch for the rhythm because there's not a noticeable rhythm. Like if this did like a clockwise circle of the platforms or something, that'd be kind of like, okay, I got to wait for the timing and go. But this is just, all right, it's here, it's down here, it's up here, it's down here, it's, I don't know. Off Zorro brand for a second, generic action platform guy question.
Okay.
And we'll use Zorro as an example, though, to keep it semi on topic. He can sword fight. It's the brand Zorro. He can sword fight. He can ride horses. He's he's
an acrobat.
He's an acrobat. He's a wealthy guy. He's smooth with the ladies. Why can't he swim? Like, that barrel puzzle, why doesn't he just swim? I know it's to save animation frames, but in reality here, you and me, like, and there's a lot of these action platform guys. Oh, it's water. He dissolves in water.
Right. At least in Conan, it was like lava.
Yeah. Lava I'll give you. Make it lava and like,
make it red. We'll do it.
But water?
Yeah. Really? I know. Like, you should be. It's not like your sombrero gets wet and drags you down to the depths, you know?
Well, it depends on the size of the sombrero.
That's true.
That also would explain for me why he can fall 3 floors. He just holds onto the sombrero and just floats down.
Just ease on down.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been a nice moment of levity.
Yeah. Like he jumps off and just sombrero floats down. Someone should do that. Someone remake this game.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to my old... everybody wants to remake the good games. Everybody wants to remake the games that gave them a happy feeling as a kid. Someone needs to go back and start remaking games like Zorro. Like, let's fix it. No one liked it. No one's like... Well, I'm just going to say no one. We're going to have 5 people out there who are like, Zorro was my favorite game as a kid.
I played it when I was 12 and my dad died. Like, oh, God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It got me through really dark times. Like, oh, Jesus.
And if your dad didn't die, it's okay. Matt just likes killing off old people.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything else to say about Zorro?
I mean, no.
All right.
No. Absolutely not.
With that, on that note, Darklands.
Yeah, we had been on the fence. Like, are we going to do a how to play Darklands, or are we going to just play it and do a month? The manual is 100 pages long and has a bibliography. I think it's going to be a couple months on Darklands.
We're going to spend a couple months on Darklands. We're going to do some sort of tutorial thing in 2 weeks. So here's again up there with find us a good sword fighting video. If you have any tips on how to play this game, comments below, on the Discord for us, on our Reddit, let us know them, because this is thick and we are kind of spinning our wheels on how to start this one. We'll have something for next time on how we've gotten started and what we would suggest doing, but this is a dense game.
There's so much in Darklands. I'm sure we'll talk about it at length, but holy shit.
Yeah. So help would be nice, but...
Yep, help us. Someone recommended Darklands like when we started this 4 or 5 years ago.
If you're still watching...
If you're that person,
now's your time to shine.
Let us know. Help us.
Okay. And because of that, our next game, we're going to go a little lighter. Speaking
we've
of
both played it. Everyone in the world has played it. It's got possibly the best cover of any game ever.
God, right?
Yeah. Fucking A.
People like Doom, but I mean, this guy's shooting a gun up in the air, shirtless, with muscles on muscles, kicking Nazis in the throat. I'm gonna give the nod to Woflenstien 3D.
Yep, it's hard to top that.
So we'll be playing that in a month. As always, play along with us in this Thursday, right?
This Thursday.
This Thursday, we go back to Deathlord.
Yes, we had a lovely time last week, just grinding and talking about movies from our childhoods.
Yeah,
and eating Starburst and pickles
and other things. Homemade cookies, I think, were some of them.
Yeah.
Let's tune in to find out what snack I bring this week. The answer may surprise you.
I will still be eating the Starburst because I got the world's biggest bag of Starburst.
So, I don't know what else to say, because I don't know for sure what we're doing yet. Whether we'll try and get one of the last words or whether we will just keep pushing, because there's a couple dungeons I want to show you. Tellingrand. We want to go back to the linear dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
didn't
lot
get
of
very
grinding to
far
be
in
done.
Hill Giant Dungeon that one time. I'd kind of like to try that again.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we go, but it'll be a good time. We'll have fun. Join us live and hang out and have fun. What else are you going to do? You're not going anywhere during COVID, so
Right, you're going to be at home. Don't pretend you're busy.
don't pretend we don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We only ask that you stay 6 feet from the screen so we don't catch anything. And
Exactly.
should be good. All right. Anything else you want to say before we go? Let's see. We've got some death jokes. Probably something racist in there with sombreros. And we've talked about COVID. I think this is a winner show. I think
we checked all the boxes. We went around and around about auto duel this time.
We really came up several times.
Yeah.
And in a good light. So
right.
Oh man,
Zorro made auto duel look fun.
I was gonna say it only took a pandemic to make us respect auto duel.
Yeah. Oh shit.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Big thank you to all of you watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, suggesting games, commenting on our videos, or supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate all of your support and look forward to sharing many more videos with you. Thank you again.